Right, good evening everyone and welcome to the Tuesday night ATV Net, which is on at 8 p.m. every Tuesday evening. So this evening we have a few watchers. We have Bob VK3BVR watching, Rob VK3IE, who is also streaming on the BATC feed, on his personal BATC feed, so watch out for Rob on the BATC feed, James VK3BKY, Fred VK3ZAQ. We also have Claudio, I2NDT, and welcome Roland. Not sure whether you've been watching recently, but welcome. And that's KC6JPG. So that's fantastic. And there's probably a few other people watching on YouTube, but I'm not currently viewing YouTube. Of course, Ian VK3QL is running the YouTube feed as well. So the running order this evening, we'll be running RTV2 first, because Gary has to come in early. I think he's got something else on later on. So first up will be actually you, Gary, after me. So I believe you're already streaming, so I'll put it across to you. If you could then put it across to John VK3ATV, and then John, if you could put it across to Mick VK3CH, and Mick back to me, and then I'll call in the stations on RTV1. So once again, welcome to the net. It's been running a long time now, and our viewership is steadily increasing. So Gary, if you're ready to go, I'm going to drop off RTV1, and Ian will bring you in on SRT. So go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, okay, so thanks. I'm just going to mute my audio on there. Right, I'm actually on the phone to Ian at the moment, which is quite good, so he can tell me how it's going. Anyway, yes, as Neil just said, yeah, I don't want to hang around too long if that's okay, so I'll just have a quick over. So I'll say thanks first off to Peter for sending me the nice pictures and data sheets of the antennas that you're using down there on the repeater. Been helping John a bit this week, getting going on reduced bandwidth TV, so we got that all sorted out. So he's got a Portsdown running nicely now at 333 kilosymbols per second, 720p. And I received some very nice pictures from him. As I said to Ian, well, I haven't got too much to show this evening, so he said, well, why don't you say something about the HVNet? So the GB3 HVNet, if you want to get up early in the morning, it will start at 7 o'clock. And they have 45 or so viewers on there. It happens just after the GB3SQ net, so if you want to get up even earlier for that, that's a very popular net when it doesn't always run, but it does run most of the time. I come up on the, hang on, I thought I'd turned all that off. I still got 2 meters on in the background. Yeah, so that's very popular nets, and of course I know a few of those guys at the BATC from when I used to live in the UK, of course, like to keep up with them, and they're all the tech guys are on there, and so I can talk to them about Portsdown and streaming and all sorts of things, and they're always very helpful. So that's on tomorrow morning every week. I always record it here, and now is a good time because when the clocks change, we will shift by 2 hours, and then it'll start at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm certainly not getting up for that. So I auto record it, time shift it, and I just watch it later. Actually, what I should be doing is this. So I've got this video that I'm going to start running in the background, well, most of it actually, and then I'll key myself in. Now I can talk over it. So as we were talking about HV, I just wanted to show this bit of old video. So this is the roof of my house that I used to have in the UK, on top of the Chilterns. Very good location, specifically picked for amateur radio. And I had the GB3HV repeater in my roof, in my attic. And we do have big attics over there in the UK, as you can probably see. And we also have chimneys, which is dead useful for sticking up antennas. So, of course, I've got the tower there, which was a nice 45-foot telescopic tower, and Lewis there is assisted to. These are the first set of GB3HV antennas. So you can tell from the size of them that it was a 23 cm in-band repeater, and so he just sticks that up on the chimney, and that's fine, because it kind of clears all the obstructions, right? You get a superb view from standing on the top of that chimney. And he took some pictures up there once, just stood up there and panned the camera around, so I could see the view. So he was. I would never do that. Of course, I wouldn't even get up that far. I'd be doing what the other guy's doing, and maybe make it to the top of the ladder and be hanging on for grim death onto the tower. Anyway, so yeah, you get the idea. So this is some really old footage, which would go back to the where did we get this on? It was in the 70s sometime. I think it was towards the end of the 70s when we did this, but it did work extremely well. We got very good coverage up there. Okay, so I won't hold it anymore. I'll listen round a little bit. I'll probably go off before the net finishes. I'll see how I feel. So I believe it's going over now to I think it's John, isn't it? VK3 ATV from VK2 CRJ in Sydney 7-3.
Good evening, everyone. I've turned off the wrong thing. John VK3 ATV. VK3 ATV in Williamstown. Okay, I'm set up now. You thought that 3 minutes of relaxation video would have allowed me time to set up. There was a bit of a problem with the audio on that one. Anyway, gave it a go. I've done a little bit of manufacturing of the DVB-T transmitter, but haven't got very far with that. Other than that, I just produced a couple of quick videos, including that one. Not very good quality. It was just one evening walking the dog. I just grabbed the iPhone X and took that video. So a bit shaky by hand. Quality's not that good. The phone's a bit old, but I might take the good camera over there one day. That's about 500 metres from the VK3 ATV location, and that was the sun setting over Point Cook. Okay, I've got one more quick video tonight. It was, again, I just happened to be driving and stopped, used the iPhone, took some video, so it doesn't show really show the immensity of it, but coming back from the Wark Hamfest, drove through a wind farm, and it was fascinating the amount of wind generators that were out there, just out near Bacchus Marsh. So it runs for about 3 minutes. So I'll just quickly play that. Okay, so that's my contribution for this evening. Nothing particularly technical, just a couple of quick videos. Sorry, that went for 1.5 minutes, not 3 minutes. First one went for 3 minutes. Otherwise, yeah, nothing else to report here at the VK3 ATV studios. So I think it's going to Mick now, VK3CH. So I will put up the thanks for watching, and then it's over to you. So, and just one quick thing, Gary, I've got a couple of antennas on my roof and I'm seriously considering taking them down so I don't have to get up on the roof anymore. So it's just not worth it these days, even with a harness. All right, 73 is from John VK3 ATV.
And good evening, everyone. Yep, the 60s and 70s, where OH&S sort of wasn't a buzzword by then. So there you go. All right, you're watching Mick, VK3CH, Doncaster. And good evening, everybody. And those that are watching through other means, maybe as in the repeater. What have we been up to this week? Well, the main thing, a few things, but the main thing is getting this frame made up. This is actually an idea of Andrew, VK3FS, down near Rosebud, Mount Martha, I think. So he put me onto this, so I just said, oh well, he's got a trailer bloke that welded these up for him, so I said I'll just get him to make another one. So I didn't need to provide any prints, so I'll have to work out how I'm going to make that sort of swing the microwave dish. But we do have some pictures he sent me, so in no particular order. And some of these are tilted on their sides, sorry about that. I do have a program, but it's refused to tilt them for some reason. So as you can see, the wheel on the right there is what's tilting the angle, and so it's going through that. I think there must be a bit of thread through that, and that can free swivel so that as the angle changes, everything runs free. So that's the edge of it on the tilt, which is attached to the dish. You'll see later as the pictures progress. So this is how he's done it. Whether I'll do it, well, I'll use this as ideas, but yeah, you sort of get the idea that I think there's a thread through there and that pulls it in and out, and there's another one where it can swivel as well on the dish. So that's the whole thing in its entirety. Note the spirit levels at the base, so that you can start off with it level and then adjust it as required. And if you look right down on the bottom, there's he calls it a milling table, where if you rotate that one that you see right at the bottom, that will actually turn it left to right. So that's for your horizontal, and the other wheel higher up is for your vertical adjustment. So he's truly thought of everything. And he does say for a 60 centimetre dish, you get about 3 degrees either way. You go a bit further than 3 degrees on a weak signal and you'll lose it. So hence the accuracy at requirements at 10 gig. So there's another picture of the top of the frame where it can swing. And on the other side. And that's a close-up of the what he calls the milling table. So that will rotate it left to right, and the spirit levels that can be seen. Another close-up of the vertical adjustment. And there's the bits that he made it up with, well, some of the bits. So there you go. Alright, so that's given us some ideas of how to do it all. Now I was umming and ahhing with the IC 905 and all the bits that go with it, and I have seen some people that have an IC 705 straight into their 9 centimetre dish setup, and you can actually use that as liaison as opposed to 70 centimetres. I have heard the comment that during contests 9cm people are actually talking over the top of each other. So I find that pretty incredible statement. So we decided to lash out, so we did go and get a 705 this morning. So we will combine that with the 9cm dish so that that will be an independent unit, and that leaves the 905 for the rest of the stuff. And what else was I going to show you? Oh yes, with these cages, you know, to protect the radio. If you see there, this is for the 705. When you put your where is it? The camera. You know, the camera quick disconnect. With the screw that your camera has, if I can flip this, live television, you know, those things, not long enough. So in the toolbox we did find a longer screw, and when you see that go past here, you know, that's going to reach inside to the radio. Now, I did have the idea I could get a little bit of JB Weld and stick that on, but if I stick that on, then you don't get access to the screws that actually the radio holds that on. So I thought, well, I'll use a longer screw, then I can unscrew it. Better not get too keen with the JB Weld. So we're doing it that way. Alright, I'll put that screw back there. I think that's about all I've got. For those of you that know the 705 very well, the RF output is B and C connectors, not PL259 or N. So I don't have any cable for that. So mini kits have come to the rescue, so hopefully that'll turn up in time. So for the John Moyle, not this weekend but after this one, I'll probably only be on 9cm. So I'll give that a bit of a test just to see how it goes, because okay, another story. Bunnings, I've got some pipe on order. It's very tough and very lightweight. They call it like fencing pipe, and I've already had 2 of them, so I thought, well, I'll get a third. And I ordered it about a month ago. I get a phone call today. Oh, your special order, it's in, but it's not going to Doncaster, it's going to Nuttawading. Our mistake, but sorry about that, but there's no way we can get it from Nuttawading back to Doncaster. You'll have to go there to get it. And I said, oh, okay, no worries. I've got the form and your little barcode on it, and it says bring some ID, and he goes, yep, off you go. So, okay, so we roll over there and go there, and after this special order, showed them a bit of paper, and they said, did you get a text message to say it's in? I said no. They rung up and said, you know, it got sent here by mistake, come and fetch it. And they said, no, it's in the process of being sent here by mistake. Until we text you, it hasn't arrived. So yeah, went back home again. So yeah, fun and games. Alright, what does it someone say? I forget who it was. This is years ago. I was at a barbecue, and a couple of hams are talking to each other, and he was saying some women heard them overheard them saying, you know, how he's injured himself and fallen off a ladder and cut himself, and you know, spending money on this and that and all the rest of it. And one of the women said to him, well, why do you do this? And he just looked at her and said, it's my hobby. It brings me pleasure. Yeah, everyone went quiet. You had to be there. Alright, I think I'm putting it back to Neil. That's all I've got for this week. So, cheers all. VK3CH, Doncaster.
Right, thanks for that, Mick. Now that you've got a 705, you can use it to drive your SG Labs 3.5 gig transverter. Beautiful. Really, really good. That's what I use my 705 for. Okay, it's half time, and it's now time to bring in RTV1. So if you're ready to go, Peter, we'll just look out for you on RTV1, which we don't see you up there yet. So you could come up shortly on RTV1. Everyone switch to RTV1 very shortly. And then, Peter, if you could put it across to Richard, and Richard back to me. So where's Peter? Waiting for Peter to come up. Don't see him up yet on RTV1. So what's happening there, Peter? VK3BFG. So here we go. I think I see Peter coming up now. So yes, there he is. Switch across to RTV. Switch across to RTV1 now.
Yeah, thanks, Neil. That was an amazing piece of video, Gary, if you're still there, with the with the guys on the roof. No one had a harness. I can't believe it. He was just balancing there. I think he had gumboots on or something like that. I'm not sure. But, whoa, was that hairy. You wouldn't see that these days. Never mind, it was interesting stuff there. And, yeah, historical video there, Gary. It must have been good to be in a very good location like that, and also to be hosting a repeater. That's really great. Anyway, we're all got our fingers crossed for you up there in Sydney to convince Amateur Radio New South Wales that amateur television is worth supporting, and anything we can do down here, we will do for sure to see if we can help you out. During the week, RTV had a fault, which was an extremely rare one. Actually, the RTV1 receiver. Oops, Daisy, let's just cut that off. Yep. The RTV1 receiver was locked on with no signal there. We're getting a black screen on. It was putting out a black screen, and it was locked on. And I had to jog up there and just a switch on and off, and away it went again, and I'm using it right now. So that was a bit of a weird one. I've not seen those combo receivers do that, and that is just simply lock up. You must have got an extraneous signal or something, and then maybe the firmware's got all sorted, all upset, and there it was, yeah. So I went into the shack and opened the door, and there was the receive lamp on RTV1's receiver, and no one was on RTV1. So yeah, interesting stuff. Well, I've had a good day today. I've had my biennial pilot's medical, and I'm now cleared to fly for another couple of years. The DAME, as they're called, designated medical person, I forget what exactly it stands for, but they're called DAMEs. He certainly pushed me around a fair bit. A lot of strength testing. You know, press here, do this, hold this, etc., etc. And then the big one, of course, for me was blood pressure, and we did manage to get it down below 140/80, which is the requirement. In fact, it went down to 134 with a little bit of huff and puff, so that was pretty good. Also, the other test is the big one, is the balance test. You've got to stand with your feet absolutely together. You know, in other words, the 2 feet have to be touching, and your arms must be down beside you, and you have your eyes closed, and you've got to stand there for at least 30 seconds without moving your. You can move around a little bit, and meaning, you know, sort of just balancing, but you can't put your arms out or anything like that. Your arms have got to be by your side, and you've got to balance there for 30 seconds. Well, I did that easily, so pretty pleased about all that. Not bad for a guy that's 82. And as a bit of celebration, I went on the website for Angel Flight, and I got an Angel Flight on Thursday. And this one's a fairly long one, actually. Now we've got to go up to Albury to pick somebody up, then take them out to Hay and drop them off, and then come back from Hay back to Moorabbin. So, yeah, we're into Albury, which is a controlled airspace type arrangement with a tower and all that. So I thought I'd ring up John ATV and coax him away from work, and I was absolutely successful, which is great. So John's coming with me, which is very, very pleasing. He managed to shuffle things around, which is what he ought to do. We're still having tea problems. It's quite problematical. I have a tea system here on the desk, and the intention is there to program it up again, and then do some tests with Dennis Direct on 1255 and see if we can sort things out. When we first switched them on with the down converters, they all worked. Then gradually 1255 got deafer and deafer. Now it's not working at all. And 1278 was okay, and then it got a bit deaf, and now it's very deaf. So, you know, what causes that? I've ordered some PAL to BNC adapters, so we'll get rid of the PAL plug, and hopefully that might help. But it's just floundering around in the dark a little bit. But maybe when I do some experiments with Dennis, with the set that's over there, we may be able to sort it out. On a more positive note, we're all getting ready for the Train and Hobby Show, and the team is Neil Musco, 3BCU, and John Chestnut, VK3 ATV, and John Cooper, VK3 JCO. And I'm pleased to say that the president of Amateur Radio Victoria is going to come and work on the stand as well. So it's a bit of a combined stand, Amateur Radio Victoria and Melbourne ATV group, which is good politics. And it'll be great to have Tony there with us. I think he's coming on Saturday. So that'll be terrific. One of the minor problems we've got there at the Train and Hobby Show is that the HDMI lead that accesses all of the sound down monitors is directly opposite where we are, diagonally opposite. So the problem is, how do we get RTV1, 2 signals over there so that they can be seen on the monitor? Well, the answer to that is I've lashed out and bought myself one of these. Nifty little device. There's a sender and a receiver, and you can see it's got diversity antennas, which is also good. And it's advertised at 150 to 200 metres in free space. So you've got a discount, you know, if there's people present, etc. But this is so light, we'll be able to get it up somehow, maybe above head height even. And we've got a moth come in. I did a test yesterday, and I had the little unit on the floor here, and then the receiver was over in the garage, which is across the block, and so the signal had to go through the shack side and then through the brick fence, and it worked quite well. And the signal was HD, and yeah, it looked pretty good. So hopefully this will get the signal over to the Sandown monitors. And if it isn't, I've got myself a neat little thing anyway for going portable just around the place. You can imagine you might be able to make some kind of a little device to maybe strap on your back or something like that, and you've got yourself a little mobile transmitter to go out and maybe at some event. Now, I know Dennis through YLH won't be interested in that at all because he's had a belly full of going out on events, but those of us that haven't might do that. Anyway, that's about it for tonight. Anyone that's got Flight Radar 24, the call sign is Delta Kilo Charlie, and you can follow John and I as we travel up to Albury. We'll be leaving Moorabbin probably about 10:30, something like that. And then we'll go to Albury and land there and pick up the gentleman and then take him all the way out to Hay, and then from Hay all the way back home. So, yeah, pretty long flight. So we've got to bring some water and something to eat as well. Okay, well, that's it for me for tonight. I think, Richard, you're next up on RTV1. So if you start streaming, not streaming, no, you're transmitting. We want people to transmit. I mean, streaming is good when there's no other option. But if you live in Melbourne, you should be watching the RTV repeater, or you should be transmitting to it, and only using YouTube or the BATC if you haven't got facilities to do that. If you live in Melbourne, Mount View's pretty central and fairly high. There would be few places where you wouldn't be able to get a signal. Obviously, there would be some, but generally the coverage is very, very good. Okay, that's it for me. So tonight, I should say. So VK3 VRS to transmit. This is VK3 VFG and 1 Turner South. Over to you there, Richard.
My view. That's Melbourne from my tower. It was going to be a sunset, but I'm on a bit later. So anyway, that's my view. Just behind us here. I think it's this hand. Yep, there we go. Yeah, very good. Good to see preparations going well for Sandown. Train Hobby Show. Clearly, I've got nothing prepared for tonight. I've just been too busy. I'm quite amazed at how quiet my phone is tonight. Better make sure it's on because it's been going all day today, non-stop. So yes, trying to get work done and the phone done. It's been quite interesting. So it's been going pretty much for the last week, non-stop. Anyway, that's my little issue. Did manage to take some time over the last week, and Mark, JMI, and myself have been experimenting a little bit, both with our 905s, because Mark now has joined the club as well. He picked up his, so another club member, and yeah, we've been playing around with ATV FM on 5 gig and 1.2, not 2.4 at the moment because I need to do something about my transmission line / antenna. Not sure which one yet, but I've got to lower my tower down and recheck everything and do everything. And so I've actually got it offline at the moment because I'm making quite a few little changes here and there. Yeah, once I've done it all, I'll probably have, obviously video of what I've done and whatnot. So I'll show that. But we've had some interesting results. We've discovered, because of the height difference and how close we are, I'm up here and Mark's down here, and as we've on 1.2, yep, bang, really nice strong signal, and colour pictures with sound, no problems. But when we went to 5 gig, me using a grid pack with a mesh that's probably a bit too porous for 5.2, so we're losing signal there, plus transmission line, with a few too many connectors. And we've worked out that the angle that we are on 5 gig is probably just like this. It's just skimming, so we're not getting the best of signal hitting each other. So what we plan to do, I've got an actual dish now, so exactly. Yeah, lost audio. I'm quite sure Mark would be happy for me to show this, but let me put it up and you can see what his antenna system is at the moment, which mine's pretty much the same. So just this is what Mark sent to me today, actually. So you can see in the middle there is 5 gig, and then on his one to the left of screen, that is 3.4, which I don't have, and then he's got 2.4 on the right there, grid pack, and then above it you can see the 23 centimetre Yagi that he's got up the top, and then he's got a vertical above that as well. Yeah, mine configuration slightly, or is going to be slightly different. I don't have 3.4. He's using a SG transverter for that, but I will have the same dish, and I'll have a grid pack for 2.4 and a grid pack for 1.2, and above that I've got a tri-band antenna which my 9700 is connected to. So yeah, we've basically worked out what we need to. Let me just go back to me again. Have I got audio? Yep. So what we've worked out is, because of our elevation, and wouldn't be so bad if we were a long distance apart, the distance in elevation, but because we're only 8 kilometres apart, my signal at 5 gig is just sort of going over across the top. This is what we suspect. So Mark's going to adjust his just slightly up, and when I redo my antennas, I'm going to go slightly down to test that theory. And we also thought of an idea for this problem to be able to rectify it at any stage, and we're looking at some actual linear actuators. So they're like a piston that you can actually manually adjust the antenna. So we're going to make it so we can tilt it this way, because we've got rotation azimuth, so we're just going to need it so we can go that way. So obviously, because of my elevation, I'm going to be more pointing it down, and he might be more pointing it up. So yeah, that's what we're going to play around with anyway. So that's some of the things that we're experimenting with. I'm configuring mine so it's very easily to go portable for myself, as well as keep it as a base station. I like the option of being able to do both, and can't afford to have two. So yeah, Mick, good idea with the 705, definitely. That's the ideal scenario. I know when Mark and I team up together and we go off on mad days, he's running the 705, which is running his transverters, and it works fantastic, absolutely fantastic for doing that. The only thing is, of course, the frequencies aren't exactly like what a 905 is. You haven't got the exact frequencies, you have to work out what the difference is. But I think Mark's putting them all in memory and then going from there. But actually, I should get him to change the memory names. That might help. Just change the name to into a frequency. So that might make a difference. Just thought of that then. Yeah, anyway, so that's what little time I've had. I've been able to sort of play around on 5 gig. A few people probably heard us talking on Sunday, I think, when we were playing around a little bit Sunday morning. Yeah, we were toing and froing, just testing a few little bits, seeing if we can fine tune each other, because now he's on a rotator, so we could do that. And we were talking about it a little bit in depth and thinking, having a look at our path, and that's when I'm thinking that could be the issue there. But yeah, it'd be fun to sort of be able to change that and see if that is the case, and then get a nice full quietening signal to each other on FM, and then work out our little audio issues, cables and whatnot. So the poor 905 at the moment's out of action, and I've unplugged that because it's not fully operational at the moment with the transceiver unit off. One thing I did discover, the actual U-bolts, the stainless steel U-bolts that they supply, that ICOM supply to mount it to a pole, I just put them up without even giving it a thought. Hasn't been up there all that long, a few weeks, only had 1 or 2 rains, and one nut on each side of the U-bolt would not undo. It was just almost welded on. The other side came off all right, so I actually had to bend my U-bolts to actually get the frame off my pole. It doesn't matter because how I'm setting it up, I'm not going to need them again anyway. But yeah, obviously ICOM, you're using really cheap stainless steel from China. I've had that problem on other things as well. Yeah, it's terrible. So anyone that puts one up, either put some sort of Vaseline or something over it before you put it up, or change it out to decent stainless steel, or even better, probably change it out to galvanised. Probably going to be better. Gal U-bolts, probably going to have less problems. So there's a tip for you. I'll be using, when I reconfigure everything, I'll show everyone and I'll have that. John, good quality video coming through, even on standard definition. It's still coming out nice and strong with a good strong signal. So that was good to see, and looking forward to hearing you, Mick, on the higher bands on the next Mad Day. I'm definitely not going to be able to be on the air before the next 2, 3, at least 3 or 4 weekends away before I can. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be post-Easter, to be honest, before I'm back on air on the higher frequencies. So it is what it is. Anyway, I don't think there's anybody else on RTV1. I haven't been informed of anything. That's all I've got for tonight, except I'll just give Clinty's usual plug. So, hang on, if I can find it. Maybe I can't find it. Anyway, I can see Neil there is ready to go on RTV2. Here's Clint's. I'll just put this on first.
For live news on the planets, cosmology, sunspots and more, every Friday at 10 p.m. Clint VK3 CSJ presents the Astronomical Society of Victoria broadcast on this amateur television repeater, VK3 RTV Channel 1.
And there we go. All right, and I've got audio. Alrighty, that's it for me tonight. So, look, can I do this? Hang on, what have I done? No, wrong. Anyway, very good. Neil, all over to you. I'll go, obviously say goodbye with my usual test pattern. Good night, everyone. Sorry I haven't got anything fancy video to watch, but it is what it is. At least I'm here.
Right, thanks for that, Richard. most interesting segment, and I'll be very interested to see how you go with the 5.7 aligning the antennas. I'm just about to put my 5.7 antenna back up, and Robert VK3IE is only about 3 kilometres away, so it makes it even more difficult. I'm not sure that 8 kilometres you'd have a big issue, but anyway, I'll be interested to see how you go with those tests, because I said Rob IE is only about 3 kilometres away, and I may have the same issue. Again, thanks for watching, everyone. It's been great. Hopefully you'll all tune in next week, and there'll be more stations on with more interesting segments. So thanks for watching once again. We'll see you all next week. Bye.